right, so grocery store trip is complete, and once again, feeling good about not having to drive at night. But my wife does want some Mexican food. So one other thing I like about Grok is I don't have to remember the name of the Mexican place that's near the shopping center. I just have to describe it, and Grok's got it. Kit, let's go to that Mexican restaurant that's over there at the Harris-Teeter Shopping Center over at Leesville Road.
Found a couple Mexican spots near the Harris-Teeter on Leesville Road, like Salsa Fresh Mexican Grill, just half a mile away on Strickland Road, or Las Palmas, 3 a bit farther. Which one? Or want me to navigate to Salsa Fresh?
All right, so it does a great job with that. I've already enjoyed being able to just describe things I'm interested in, see it come up with ideas, and have it just take me there. I'm not real good at remembering names of stuff or specifics a lot of times, but I knew which place I really wanted to go to. Now, this is interesting. Okay, see what it's doing here is it's going out of the parking. Now it is cutting through a parking lot. Very interesting. I actually haven't seen it cut through a parking lot before, and it could have just pulled out and turned left right there, but it's following the route. The routing to me is very curious as to why it does some things. I'll tell you a quick story about an interesting routing thing that it did the other day, which I thought was actually really good. So the other day we had to go to my kid's school, but it was over the weekend. And so it's not like we were going through the carpool line or anything, but the car had a route that I could tell was going to try to go through the carpool line. So when we pulled in, obviously I didn't want to just go through the carpool line, and I deactivated the self-driving, and then I turned the way I wanted it to go into the parking lot, and then I picked a parking space and had it parked. Well, then we were going back to the school the next week. This was this past week, and this time I did want to go through the carpool line because I was dropping my kids off, and the map routed back to the parking lot that we had parked in and not through the carpool loop. And so I thought, well, that's odd. Is that just a random thing or what's up? Now, this is another way that Grok is actually great, is on the way back so I routed through carpool manually, and once I got into the carpool line, I put it in self-driving, and it drove through the carpool line just fine. And that was another thing that was nice was, I don't know if any of you are parents out there and you've ever had to drive through carpool lines. It's like this constant stop and go thing. So you don't want to be, lagging, and you don't want to be obviously driving into the bumper of the car in front of you, but you got a lot going on. You got noisy kids in the car. You got cars stopping and starting, other kids waving from the other cars, people letting their kids hang out of the sunroofs. And so it can feel kind of chaotic and stressful. Well, when the car is driving, it's totally fine because I know the car is not going to hit the car in front of me. So anyway, that was nice. But here's the point of my story. We were going through the carpool. We were done. I dropped the kids off. On the way back, I pressed the Grok button, which I have my shortcut right here. I like that better than using the steering wheel. And I asked Grok about it. And this is something you can really do a lot with this, is Grok is right now in the beta for Grok on the car. Grok is its own separate AI, separate from the Tesla AI that does the driving. So you kind of have to remember that there's a limited number of things that Grok can do. But 2 of the things that Grok does is it knows the maps, obviously, and you can describe stuff like you just saw, which is really helpful. But the other thing it knows is it knows all of the user manuals of the vehicle. Who has ever opened a user manual and looked anything up? Not me. I've definitely had questions, but I'm not going digging through a user manual. I would think most people don't. I know there's probably some people out there that love their user manuals. Those are not the majority of people. And so there's been multiple times where I've just asked a question and Grok has told me where something was, what to hit, how a functionality works, where to find it. That's really, really helpful. But I asked it this question about why did, when we went to the school the first time, the map was going to go through the carpool line, and why, when we went back to the school the second time, was it not going to go through the carpool line, even though we had just been there the day before? And what it told me was it will actually understand from certain locations that you go to regularly where you tend to go in those locations. So because the day before we had gone to the parking lot area, um, it was going to go back and do that again, and instead of the carpool loop. And I thought that was awesome that it learns that. But then the question, of course, becomes, well, what do you do if you actually need to go to different places at the same place regularly? So, for example, at our school, there's a standard parking lot, there's a carpool loop, and then there's another pickup area if you're picking up kids from aftercare, which we do that too. And so that's actually 3 different locations at the same location. And it turns out what Grok told me you can do is you can actually drop a pin on the specific spot at that location, like the pickup area or like the parking lot, and you can save that as a favorite and name it. So I could name it like school aftercare pickup. And then that way, when I tell when it's time to pick up the kids after school, I can tell it, hey, let's go to school aftercare pickup, and it'll go to that spot at school. Now I haven't actually tried that yet, it's on my to-do list, but I thought that was really cool, and also the fact that it remembers a little bit. Now something else that I really like uh, about Grok is I see huge potential for Grok to become the the personalization of the driving experience for me going forward. I think what they're going to do with Grok, I don't know how soon they'll do it, but if you've ever used ChatGPT, you probably know that ChatGPT has memory, and that's what gets kind of sticky about it. That's what hooks you about it, is as ChatGPT remembers things about you, your work, personal life, your fitness goals, whatever it is, it references those things and it suggests things because of your interests and profile. And that memory feature is very useful. Well, it would make total sense to me that that same memory capability for the user or the driver, supervisor, would apply to Grok in the future iterations of the software. But now I could also see where, the Tesla AI that drives the vehicle, that is very purpose built. So my guess, from at least this is my 2 cents, to take it for what it's worth, but I think what they're going to do is they're going to embed Grok into the vehicle so that it can run within the vehicle, but they're going to give Grok the ability to have memory tied to the driver profiles. And so Grok will start to learn attributes and preferences of the driver. So imagine right now when you approach the car with your phone, it'll move the seats and mirrors and everything for your driver profile and remember your settings. But just like that, also, it'll be signed into your account as the driver, and Grok will know who is who. And so I think if you, for example, prefer to drive a certain way out of the neighborhood, or you want to park in a certain location, or you have a certain set of favorites, or even a certain set of preferences that are within the bounds of what can be inputs to the Tesla AI, Grok is going to know that stuff. And so whether it's actively doing it or doing it in the background on your behalf, I see this possibility where Grok is actually able to issue commands to the Tesla AI on your behalf involving your user preferences in an intelligent, reasoned way like AI can do. And that is going to take the supervising riding experience to a whole new level in terms of it's going to feel like K.I.T.T. You're going to have K.I.T.T. from Knight Rider who actually knows you, what you like, what you prefer. And I mean, and then maybe even I can rename Grok K.I.T.T. because I call it K.I.T.T. now just because I'm a nerd about stuff like that. But honestly, I think it will start to feel more like K.I.T.T. in Knight Rider. And if you maybe didn't ever see Knight Rider because you're way younger than me, then maybe like Jarvis in Iron Man, who just is the most helpful, personalized, intelligent assistant you've ever seen. I think that's where we're headed. And it probably won't be that long, honestly. I mean, Elon Musk is just announced where they're going to build Colossus 3 data center, and that's where they're going to train. Even they haven't even finished building Colossus 2 yet, where they're going to train the next versions of Grok. And now then they're going to build Colossus 3. That's amazing. Now here we are. We're coming back up on the shopping center here where the Mexican restaurant is. The parking can be somewhat tight around it. So we're going to see which route it chooses. It did not choose this turn, which it could have. And actually, I see on the map now it's going past that to turn back in the other way. It did not turn there, even though that's probably where I would have turned, which is fine. It's going to turn, it's going to go a little around itself here. This is a little inefficient. I think, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the not being stressed out thing. Have you ever had that case where like you're rushing around in your car, maybe you pass some people, you're a little impatient, you get around them, maybe there's a car you notice that's going slowly, and you get stuck like several miles down the road at a couple red lights, and here comes along that slow car that you passed a while back. It's at the same damn red light as you, and you realize in that moment, well, my ass rushing around didn't do myself any good, because here's old hunky dunk pulled up at the same light as me, putzing around. So what good was all my hurry? Well, I realized I don't actually mind, not driving as fast when it's not as stressful. So it's just something to, I think, I mean, everybody's different. But for me, as somebody who likes to get the hell where I'm going, I just really haven't felt any stress about it. It's like I'm just chilling, watching what the car's doing, and it's all good.
Night Rider Minds.